an important documentary about someone who is as American as I am, but is fighting for his rights. We're talking to him and the writer, next.
You are tuned in to Black Hollywood Lives. Breaking into.
It's like, first, we're gonna rock out. Good, very nice. I know, I feel like I should be outside jumping around.
Dancing in the rain.
I almost said rain. Hi, you guys. Welcome to another edition of Breaking Into here on Black Hollywood Live. I am your host, James Lott Jr. I'm so glad you can join me today. I have a great subject we're going to talk about today that's very important and very timely. And I have the star of this subject and the writer and editor here. This is going to be so great. And I mean, they embody my whole thing of paying it forward, sharing knowledge, and lifting each other up. The film screening is actually tomorrow here in LA at Outfest, so I'm very exciting for that. The documentary is called Forbidden and Undocumented and Queer in America. Let's get that straight. I have the writer and editor, Heather Mathews. Hello, Heather.
Hi.
And I have the very brave subject, and I'm so glad to have him here, Moises Serrano.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Moises. How are you?
Hi.
Great. How are you?
I have to give a shout out to Rocky Saldana, who actually I talked to on Twitter. See, this is the power of social media. The power of social media about your film months ago.
Oh, wow.
And then I was like, I want to talk to these people and have them on my show because I'm trying to do things, trying to diversify my show some. And also I'm Latino and queer and all this stuff. And I just want to talk to you about what's going on with you and explain to folks out there what this documentary is, what it all means, and what it means for them. Because you're out there all the time. You're talking. There's a ton of videos with him out there, like crazy. And then we're also going to show the trailer too. So Jonathan, I did. There's a trailer for I wanted to show too. So we can get that right as I'm talking to him. So first, okay. So Moises, So you're from North Carolina.
Yes.
But you were born in Mexico originally.
Correct.
But you've been in North Carolina almost your whole life, correct?
Correct, yeah. I migrated with my mother and my two older sisters when I was 18 months old, and we settled in really the northwestern part of North Carolina.
Really beautiful state. I've been there. Really
Yeah,
beautiful
it's gorgeous.
State. Lots of greenery you don't have in LA.
Yeah.
Right, Heather? I mean, so I'm over greenery.
Yeah.
You have to look for it. But North Carolina, it's everywhere.
It's all
everywhere.
succulents here.
It is. All these plants that don't take any water. Now, how old are you now?
I'm 26.
So you've been in America almost, 24 years of your life?
Yeah.
20, that's you're American.
A long time.
You're here a long time.
Yes.
I mean, that's really most of your life.
Yes.
So please explain to folks first, let's break this down, what is undocumented? Because I know there's all these things buzzing around. What is it? What is it?
That's a great question. I think the best way to explain it is just an immigrant without an immigration status.
Okay.
Right. Many people do not know that once you enter into the country without proper inspection by immigration and customs enforcement authorities, there isn't a way to legalize or naturalize your status if you remain inside the country for more than 6 months or more than a year.
You can't get naturalized?
No, that is exactly the root of this issue, right? I think people often say, well, they should get in line. Yeah. The fact is that there is no line for the 11 million undocumented immigrants to get in.
Okay, I just learned something today. I was thinking, just go in, but you can't do that.
No, that is correct.
After 6 months?
That is actually a provision under IRA, which is one of the toughest pieces of anti-immigrant legislation passed by the Clinton administration in 1996. And so that's kind of the barrier that was placed for immigrants. You have to. For example, I migrated when I was 18 months old, and because I stayed inside the country for more than 1 year, my penalty is that I have to return to Mexico or anyone's native country and remain there in exile for 10 years. That is my penalty.
What?
And
but you were a baby.
Exactly, right? And then seek to naturalize my status by an existing channel, which, again, like the existence system is not working. So.
I really did learn something new. I was like, I didn't realize that was the 6 month thing, and you were a baby, so obviously you had no say.
Exactly.
I mean, you just there should be some kind of provision.
Right, exactly. And I also think that, we do not want to remain undocumented.
Right.
we really would love to live without fear. So again, there is just no pathway towards citizenship because Congress is the only body of government that can provide a pathway towards citizenship. But as we have seen, they are gridlocked on not just immigration, but many other issues as well.
God, That's crazy. Okay, we're gonna break this down because I just we're gonna show the trailer right now because I was like that just blew me out the water. We're gonna show the trailer, please, and this is the film. And you guys look.
When I was little, I was enchanted by Lady Liberty. You know, I was enchanted by the story of America, because I would always ask my teacher when I was 8 or 9 years old. I was like, "Teacher, what does Lady Liberty have on her notebook?" Because that's what I thought it was. You know, what is written on her notebook? And my teacher told me. She said, "It's give me thy weak,
That's
give
cute.
me thy poor, give me thy huddled masses yearning for freedom." And I knew that Lady Liberty was talking about my family and about my community. I just knew that in my heart, so I felt welcomed and I felt special.
My name is Moises Serrano. My name is Moises Serrano.
You look good.
My name is Moises
Hello.
Serrano. And I'm queer, and I'm undocumented, and I'm unafraid.
The people united will never be defeated.
I can't hear you guys, come on! The people united will never be defeated. Si se puede! Si se puede! Si se puede! Si se puede! Oye, ¿cómo va? I want to hear y'all scream and get ready for break. You ready? 1, 2, 3, scream!
2, 4, 6, 8. How do you know your son is straight?
I don't know. That made me laugh. I saw that. It made me laugh.
really good.
That was good.
I graduated in 2007 from my high school. I got a small scholarship, graduated.
You're so young, too.
And then
It's
I
great.
realized what undocumented really meant.
The community college system at that point had barred all undocumented students from even attending a community college or public university.
Right then and there, the door was shut right in my face.
All of my dreams, all of my aspirations in one moment gone, shattered, just like that.
The DREAM Act came 5 votes short of breaking a Republican-led filibuster. And just to know that 5 people can dictate the lives of 2.1 million
And that's crazy.
undocumented youth, it's humbling. You know, that makes me feel so small and so unwanted and so disposable.
I was starting to face this rhetoric of, you don't belong here. Go back to where you came from. I am 24 years old now. I've lived in North Carolina for over 22 and a half years. Go back to where?
Like that's a great line, too. Go back to where. We all hear those things sometimes. Go back to where you come from. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
You're American. I keep saying it. You're American. I mean, for all purposes, you're American. Yeah. When you both watch that, I mean, as the writer, editor, what kind of emotion can you watch that and look at it? I mean, how's it?
I can't. I mean, I get I have goosebumps now.
I know, I
mean,
do.
it's still. I can't watch it and not be affected by it.
Yeah.
I see it as something other than what I built. I mean, that's the power of a good trailer. Like any
Yes.
good trailer, it creates emotions in you. Every time I watch it, I try to watch it very minimally, because I don't want it to not have that effect on me.
Got
but
it.
it does. There are 3 different times in that trailer where I get the goosebumps and where I get this dark feeling in my chest.
I felt it for myself.
Yeah.
I was getting upset.
Yeah.
I could feel it. And for you watching, it's you talking. You watch yourself talk. I'm on TV, so I know how it is. So
No. Oh gosh, I usually do not.
And you look good in every shot. I mean, hello, everybody. Even you laying there in bed, you look kind of like, do you have makeup on? Like, what's going on? You look
Thanks
good.
to Heather, my editor, I look great.
Yeah, you look great. Like, hello.
We have to pay her more.
Yes.
You know, I've spoken to Tiffany and I've spoken to Heather about this. You know, I think
And Tiffany was the director.
Yeah.
Tiffany, the director.
I want to make
Tiffany
sure everybody says that.
The amazing director.
Yes.
You know, I've spoken to them. I can't watch the documentary. I really cannot. I think even the trailer, it takes me back to really dark moments in my life that I really would much rather not go back to.
Yeah.
But I do this because I believe in the American people. I believe in the American public, and I believe that they are just severely uneducated on this issue, and I believe if they were educated, then things would change and things will
agree.
get better, and that's what this documentary is about.
I was educated, and I'm 47 years old. I think I know a lot of stuff. I was educated on that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that it was those kind of weird things that are in our system that are stopping people from just doing what they want to do naturally. I mean, you want to. I know you want to vote. You want to get married. You want all the stuff that you're here. You know.
Exactly.
that you should have all that stuff. Okay, so we're going to go deeper into this, but I want to talk about what does it mean to be queer?
I think for me, realizing that there was a difference between gay and queer in the South came at a really at a culminating point to when Trayvon Martin's murder was basically not going to be charged, and I was at a white gay fundraiser. And I mentioned this to someone there, and he said, I don't follow politics. He basically did not care because he does not follow politics. And the lives of people of color being reduced to politics made me realize how elitist and exclusive gay spaces were. And then, I realized that I'm not like them, that immigration reform to them would also be politics and that they wouldn't care. So I started understanding that queer was oftentimes, more accepting of different shades of your skin and different issues. And it was a more encompassing and broad term. So
it's funny for me. It's interesting because it's being used, but the younger, my generation, you didn't say it. It was a bad word.
Yeah.
So we didn't say it. So when I saw it being used again, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. I totally get why a broad section of the population is saying it now.
Yeah.
It's not just gay men, but other women are saying it. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff saying it.
Yeah.
And we had Orlando happen recently, and a lot of them were men of color, and a lot of Latino men. It's kind of funny how people who I was shocked how many people in the gay community that are white really if it doesn't affect them, they just are not involved. If it's somebody of color, gay of color, I'm thinking, well, shouldn't we all be doing this together? No. And you saw that, obviously.
Yeah, so that was the moment when it struck me that I was not just gay, I was queer. And so I, from that moment, we kind of decided to go, especially with that word for our documentary.
Yeah, I was going to say. And then now, also, what does it mean to be for you Latino or Hispanic? What does that mean for you?
Oh, gosh. It's evolved over time. I think I was, again, I was raised in rural America and rural North Carolina. And so when my family migrated to North Carolina, there weren't other Latinos. There weren't other Mexican families. And on top of that, just geographically speaking, the type of work that my parents did, they worked at farms. And so it was very isolated from even other families.
Wow.
So for me, at first, I really didn't see a difference between myself and my peers. But then it was whenever I started to see other migrant families kind of coming into the area, I started to see that I was not just, a regular American. I was Mexican American. And so Selena also helped really solidify that for me. And still to this day, she is my goddess.
May she rest in paradise.
Exactly.
So, yes.
But I think for me, being Latino means my culture, my music, my language, and reclaiming that, and not allowing people to say Moses. It's Moises.
Okay, that's right.
And so that's how I've slowly reclaimed my identity. It's through my name and through my music and through the food.
I'm gonna share something with you. I interviewed a big time director here on my show. Her name is Nzinga Stewart. And she had a different name. She went over to Africa and had an epiphany experience. And she said she was on the western part of Africa, and she saw where the slaves were traded over to go onto the boats. There was actually like an invisible line. They made it into a thing there, but it was a line where once they crossed the line, their African name became an American name. Wow. And so she said it profoundly, and you just said about name and stuff. She was like, I'm going to go back to the name that is part of my family, and I'm using Nzinga. And said she's gotten flack for using that name because it's something different. Like, what's Nzinga? She can't direct, Young and Hungry or something like. You can't do a Nickelodeon thing. And she's like, no, I can't. I just have a name. So I like the fact you're like, no, I'm going with the name that is my birth name, that is my culture. Yeah. It does make a difference.
It does. I mean, a name is like your marker in society. It's your power. So reclaim that. Yeah. Definitely.
Oh my God, that's so great. So I brought those three things up because it is. You're Hispanic Latino, you're queer, you're undocumented, you're a man, you're a North Carolinian. I mean, it's like there's so much going on, but it's all tied together in Moises.
It's all identity.
Yeah.
Yes. Isn't that crazy? Now, how did this come up? I mean, how did this whole documentary get born? I mean, how did this happen?
Well, Tiffany, it started with Tiffany.
Okay.
Tiffany's been working on it for 4 years. I've been working on it for 2.
Okay.
And it began with Tiffany when a friend of hers, Kathy, was going to school at Wake Forest doing a documentary program. And she was given an assignment to interview Moises for a project for school.
Okay.
And she invited Tiffany along because Tiffany was visiting. Tiffany was in town visiting in North Carolina. Tiffany lives in Florida. And she said, "Tiffany, will you ask the questions while I operate the camera?"
Oh, okay.
And Moises just hit it off.
Oh, he's charismatic, so I'm not surprised at all.
Just
Wink
hit
at the camera.
She went way beyond the scope of the questions on the paper, and they went way beyond the length of time that had been determined. And afterward, she said to Kathy, "We need to make a movie about this guy." Like, I knew nothing. Tiffany's been an activist her entire life, and she didn't know about this issue, the undocumented issue, the undocu-queer issue.
Yeah.
And she felt like, what's wrong with this country that we, who consider ourselves activists, don't know about this?
Yeah.
Why is this not being talked about?
Right.
And she felt that it was very important to bring this issue out into the open, and that Moises' story was such a good way, such a good story to tell.
Yeah.
So she and Kathy followed him around with the video camera for 2 years. For almost 3 years, and then he was going to college. He'd gotten a full ride into college, which I don't want to spoil too much of it because it's in the movie.
Yes.
But it happened to be the same college that I went to.
Yep.
Tiffany had visited me at.
This is all meant to be.
I know. Yeah. Tiffany and I have been friends since high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Tiffany called me when they were going to finish shooting at the college, like his first few days at college. And Tiffany called me because she'd visited me there many times, and it was just like this crazy kismet thing.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I had heard about this documentary, and I couldn't believe that I didn't know anything about this subject, and I couldn't believe Tiffany was working on this project, and it sounded so amazing. And I had helped Tiffany with her previous documentary project, just a little bit, bit.
Yeah.
But she finished talking about this, and I was so impressed, and I was so amazed, and it just sounded so great, and I was like, "Who's gonna edit it?"
Oh, okay.
And she was like, "I don't know. I guess I will." And I was like, "Can I do it?"
Oh, fun. Okay.
And she was like, "Please, I'd love it." And so we started. That was in September. I started work in October. This was almost 2 years ago, October. And she sent me a hard drive and was like, "Go for it."
Go for it. Wow. Now I have to ask you, first of all, when they came to you and said we make a documentary on you, I mean, this isn't happening. I mean, no one's made one of me yet. How's that feel? I mean, how's that feel? I mean, like, is this like, oh my God, no, is it scary? Or like, I mean, what does that mean?
It was exciting.
Okay.
It was exciting at first. I never knew how far along this project was going to be. It just didn't seem real.
Yeah.
So I was like, sure, I'll go with this. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
But I just never expected it to get to this point.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we shot, the last material that we shot for this film, we shot in March, just this past March.
Wow, okay.
The first time we screened a rough cut in Yadkinville for his family, that's the first time his family and a lot of people realized that we actually had a movie.
That's right, that's so funny.
And we then shot a bunch more interviews. We got an interview with his sister that that's very vital to the movie.
Oh, wow, okay,
it really
great.
brings a whole new dimension to the movie.
Okay, yeah.
We got an interview with another activist in North Carolina that became a very big part of the movie. Two other activists in North Carolina that became very big parts of the movie. Like, a lot of people didn't really take us seriously until they saw the first cut of the movie.
Okay.
So that brought us to another level where we were able to get even more footage for the movie that was able to bring us to the next level.
Yeah.
That has got us to where we are now.
Yeah. Now, how was it with them following you around? Like, what does that mean for your life?
It was great.
Do you have a partner?
Yeah.
So how does that work?
I think Tiffany, the director, and I, we really just have such a great relationship.
Wow, that's great.
It's a friendship, and I think because this documentary is based on a friendship and on a relationship, and not like a kind of like this weird dynamic of like camera and subject.
Yeah.
I think that really shows in the film.
You hung out together.
We hung out together. Like, I felt comfortable with her, so I just opened her up and and let her shoot whatever she wanted to shoot.
Was there certain things she couldn't shoot though? Was there was there and what did your partner say this whole time? I mean,
we took it in stride. I mean, also like because we were friends, she never tried to overstep the boundaries.
Okay,
Like, there was
good.
actually nothing that I that I kept from her. You know,
Okay.
Actually, now that you mention it, I think I was a little hesitant about applying to colleges and having that on film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
okay.
because I was always nervous about not getting in. You know,
yeah,
as we all are.
Yes.
But other than that, I was fair game. You know.
There's one conversation in the film that takes place between Moises and Brandon, his partner, that is incredibly intimate. That people ask us all the time, like, how were they willing to have that conversation on camera? And it's completely, you can tell that it's because he trusts Tiffany.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was saying, there's one scene in the trailer. So like I said, you're laying in bed with softly lit.
It's that scene.
Yeah, it's like that scene. I was like, he's like laying there, all softly lit. This man's just like, yes, what? I mean, I was like, it looks beautiful, but there was a serious scene.
That scene, the whole of that scene,
Wow.
and all of that footage is just, I couldn't believe this was taking place in front of a camera.
Wow.
It's so beautiful.
Wow. Yeah, I'm a big documentary fan, so I love documentaries that where you almost feel like you're intruding. Kind of. I love those kind where you feel like you're in the room with them, and it looks like you have many of those moments in there, which we're talking stuff.
Yeah, I trusted Tiffany, and I still do.
Yeah.
You know.
And so, are you a natural in terms of talking in front of people? You seem like you are a natural in here.
I've always loved it.
Yeah.
You know, I've always loved being in front of the camera.
I know a little bit about that myself. A little bit about that.
Right?
Yes.
No, when I was in high school, my dream was to be a journalist and to be an anchor. And I started my own TV cast program, and I was like the producer and the main anchor. And so I always wanted to be, you know, behind or in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And I always loved public speaking. And it was through the immigration movement that I got this opportunity to really practice and hone those skills.
Yeah, I think you're good. You're good at it. So can you explain to people what exactly you are fighting for, so they know exactly what it is that you're trying to get?
Right. I think we want to humanize the immigration issue. That's really at the core, I feel, of this movie. It's about belonging. It's about acceptance. It's about being loved. But the mainstream rhetoric that we have of immigrants right now is so toxic.
I was saying, yes.
That it
Trump.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
And also Trump. He didn't appear out of nowhere. He doesn't live in a vacuum like that. They're both sides, really, Democrats and Republicans, have in the past adopted this really staunchly anti-immigrant rhetoric, and that culminated in the politician that we're seeing now.
Yeah.
But it has also led us to fail so many times in Congress in order to pass legislation because people have a very warped sense of who immigrants are in this country.
Yeah. When you were editing and stuff, I mean, when you started to edit it, did you have an idea or sense of what you wanted the film to say, or did it come later?
I would say, now there were about 250 to 300 hours worth of footage to get through.
God bless editors, I'll tell you. God bless the editor.
Yeah, I was looking at footage like every day, 9 to 6, from October to March.
Oh my God.
And so it took me about like a month to realize what the structure was going to be.
Okay.
Once I saw sort of like what the footage generally was, like there were lots of events where Moises was sharing his story with the public, with different audiences, different types of audiences. And I realized that that's what we were doing, is the film was going to share his story and then back up everything that he says in the story.
Okay, got it.
You know, all the facts. We're gonna tell the story of like how difficult it is to be an immigrant in this country through other people explaining the difficulties.
Yeah. Now for you, especially because we know how this is, being queer or gay, whatever term you want to use, and of color can also be a problem.
Yeah.
So how does your family or people of your community who are Latino handle your queerness or your gayness?
Right. I think I've had the fortune of my family was accepting.
Okay.
Yeah. At the end of the day.
Okay.
And my mother, who is a fervently Catholic woman.
I was gonna say. Okay.
You know, and most Latino families tend to be pretty religious.
Yes.
But she said something that was very monumental for her, and she said, regardless of my family and regardless of my church, I don't care what they say. I just want you to be happy, and I love you. And I think that really speaks again to the bond of mother and child. I think it can surpass anything. And so that's really how I've taken it. And so far, my community, they've seen the work that I've done, and they see that I'm fighting for them, that it hasn't been a problem.
Oh,
so,
good.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I always want, because it was just historically, like you said, Latinos are very staunch and Black people too, in the church, where they may be like, yeah, I love you, but I can't outwardly support you because.
Also, the dialogue as a nation is changing too, and that's, I think, permeating also into our communities. We now have same-sex marriage. That it's there's more acceptance, I feel like, overall in this country, and I feel like that affects my family as well. So.
No, it doesn't. That's it's true. I think it's great.
Now we have the Pope.
Yes, I know. My grandmother was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's very Catholic.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, she goes to church like every day. Girl. She's always there for something. I'm like, okay, girl. Right. She's always there.
Settle down.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, girl, it's okay. But no, it's like, that's something I just think it's a thing we talk about here, because here on Black Hollywood Live, we're about diversity, and sometimes it's hard for people of color. And that could be Asian, Black, Hispanic, that's the thing that kind of butts heads. I love you, but my church says this. Or a lot of Latinos are very conservative in many ways in their way of thinking.
Yeah, they are, and I think that's still the importance of coming out.
Yeah.
That's still a testament as to why you should come out of the shadows as gay or queer. Come out of the closet, but also come out of the shadows as an undocumented immigrant, because we need to humanize this issue still with both communities. We need to humanize the issue of being gay with the Latino community, and we need to humanize the issue of being undocumented with the Anglo-American community.
Yeah.
So
now you're fighting for it to be obviously national level, right? Is that what we need? Is it has to be federal now? I mean, what do we need to do?
Great question. We need to pass immigration reform at a national, federal level in Congress. As we've stated, like, only Congress can provide a pathway towards citizenship. But unfortunately, right now, politicians aren't really listening to because their constituents aren't raising their voices, and so that's what we need.
We always need allies. That is something that's very in any movement. Yes. Whether it's all Black Lives Matter or gay stuff or anything, it's always the allies that we need, like you, or in here going, yes, I'm going to help support you and say something, right?
Exactly. And all it takes is a phone call. Like, you don't have to be like us making a documentary,
You should. Why? Do it.
Although we would strongly encourage it.
Yes, of course.
But it can be as easy as picking up a phone call. And California tends to be pretty progressive, right? As far as statewide for immigrants. But that doesn't mean you can't call politicians from other states.
I was going to say. Just because you're in California, don't mean. I always tell people all the time, those that are the target of oppression, you could be next.
Exactly.
And statistically, for every 20 calls that Congress receives for immigration reform, they receive 1,000 calls against immigration reform.
Wow, that's amazing. It's amazing. I just always wonder, like, we were America. That means bring people over. People can come here for a new life, and then it's like you can't. Not really.
And that doesn't reflect how the population feels about immigration reform. That's just that the anti-immigration reform is more motivated. They're louder. It's like why the NRA rules everything.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. I always just tell people. That's why I tell people of color, young people of color, you need to vote. You need to get involved.
Yes.
Don't feel like you just can't. It won't help anyway. I mean, Obama was the first thing we saw that voting did really work.
Yeah.
It should give you a good example. Like, it can work, but also on smaller levels too. Your local government, everything. It's very important.
Local government is very important. It's also, it's so easy. Go to Facebook, like your congressman's pages. Talk to them. You can do it on Facebook. It's so easy. I tell my congressmen, my representatives all the time.
Yeah, thank you. I think I really appreciate you bringing up that point, because I think we all focus on this big spectacle that is the presidential election. But as you were saying, so much of our lives are dependent on a state-by-state basis. I don't know if people know, but in-state tuition for undocumented immigrants is decided at a state basis. Driver's licenses for undocumented immigrants is decided on a state-by-state basis. Partnerships of local law enforcement with immigration and customs enforcement is decided at a state basis. So I think we need to stop paying so much attention to the presidential election and then also vote in your state legislatures as well.
Like, really do. I mean, it starts from local level. I mean, it starts from the top too, but it starts from the bottom also.
Yes,
the front lines.
There's so many things that can be changed at a local, that affect people more on a local level. And we're very fortunate here in Los Angeles, where we're a sanctuary city.
Yes,
we have in-state tuition for everyone. everybody
yes,
for
we do. Yeah.
citizens.
Yeah.
Undocumented citizens can get driver's license.
Yeah, they can. Yeah.
Because of Jerry Brown,
Yeah.
we're very lucky.
Yeah.
But it can change.
No, it can. I mean, I don't feel comfortable all the time. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
How is it in North Carolina right now?
In North Carolina, when I graduated from high school in 2007, they had flat out barred students like me from going to college. Just a flat out bar. I mean, imagine really like you're at this crucial point in your life when you are like transitioning into adulthood, and all of a sudden the state just says you can't follow your dreams.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so that's. So North Carolina in 2010, 3 years later, decided to allow undocumented immigrants to go to college with a catch. You have to pay out-of-state tuition, which is 3 to 4 times higher,
that. Yes, we do.
than in-state tuition. Not only that, undocumented students like myself are not eligible for any type of public assistance or government aid. Not only that, undocumented immigrants like myself tend to be minimum wage earners. We tend to fill those really bottom, low-level jobs that do not pay enough to pay $800 per class. So that's still the reality today. There's currently approximately 55,000 undocumented students in the state of North Carolina without a proper pathway towards an education.
So, do you have a driver's license?
Thanks to deferred action for childhood arrivals, DACA. I know this can get kind of tricky, but undocumented immigrants pushed Obama and the Obama administration to grant us some type of relief. And that was DACA. And what that essentially does is that it takes qualifying youth who meet certain requirements, like you pass a criminal background check and all of this stuff. And it takes you off the table for deportation. And then you are granted a work permit, social security card, and a driver's license.
Oh, wow.
So thankfully, I was allowed to have DACA.
But you have to reapply every 2 years.
Oh my God!
You have to pay the fee.
It was an executive order. It can be taken away at any time.
It was an administration change. So if the administration who comes next is
Yeah.
not friendly, they can take it away.
It also, I mean, every 2 years. So it's like, just when you feel comfortable, then you could not get it again.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
can
You are
lose
at
your
the
paperwork.
hands of the administration.
Again, that's it. I'm done. It makes me so angry. I'm like, it's like crazy talk.
It really makes.
So we're talking about people who want to be law-abiding citizens and have just the rights of what we have here in America, just basic stuff, and you're not being allowed to get it, or you have to jump through hoops to keep it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think
What's that about?
all we're asking for is to live without fear.
Right.
How simple is that?
Yeah.
Like, you want to be part of the system. Like, I want to be part of the system. You are part of the system.
are.
But you want to be, more
You want
so.
to be recognized.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the word. Recognized.
They want to be given the rights that they feel like they already have.
Right.
I mean, most people do not know that before the Real ID Act in 2007, most undocumented immigrants could actually get a driver's license.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't actually until specifically state legislatures were out witch hunting undocumented immigrants that we lost our driving privileges. But that's in the film too. I had my driver's license and then it was taken away from me.
Oh my God. Yeah. A little crazy.
And then, undocumented immigrants drive with driver's licenses that have expired, and the local sheriffs and police officers set up traps for them, and then charge them $300-$500 for a ticket for driving without a legal driver's license.
Of course they do.
They're just making money. They're just racking up tickets.
Now, can you travel outside the country?
I can and I cannot.
Okay.
You do have to ask permission from the administration. It's called advanced parole.
Okay.
So
Looks like you're in prison.
imagine that term.
Yeah.
And as of now, DACA recipients can travel only for work, education, or family emergencies. But again, it's decided on a case-by-case
So you can't go to the Caribbean and hang out in Bermuda.
No, I would not be allowed to re-enter the country if I leave without proper permission. So.
Okay, I was just curious because I know that's. I mean, you want to go on a vacation somewhere, you want to go somewhere outside the country, you can't really do that yet.
No. The government is his parents.
Right, exactly. That's the great analogy, isn't it?
Yeah, or my parole officer.
Well, you say parole, like, what a word. I mean, it's like just hello.
Yeah.
Let's criminalize it even more.
Yeah, and that's exactly the heart of this issue. It's criminalizing undocumented immigrants, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to decriminalize my community.
And entering, a very important point, I believe, is entering this country without papers is not a criminal offense.
Right.
It is not a criminal offense.
Right. Say it 10 times.
Yeah.
It's not. Jeez.
There's no such thing as illegal immigration.
Right.
That is It's not.
Oh my God, this is so crazy. It's just like I'm learning stuff more and more. It's just too much. So when you were finishing up and you were putting it all together and you got the new footage and everything, when you saw it, you feel like, okay, my baby is done. How did it feel?
When we actually
Yeah.
we had screenings along the way as we got closer
Yeah.
and closer to being done, and we would have a screening and people would respond, and they were responding really well to the film, and we were like, and then finally Tiffany came out to LA and we locked the picture when you have no more cuts to make, and it's amazing. We made 3 major changes when she came out. We put a new beginning on it.
Okay.
We switched some things around, and all of a sudden, it just felt like a silk ribbon. It felt perfect.
Wow.
And we were like Tiffany had a scotch.
I'm sure I would drink afterwards. Like, oh my God, we're done. She's all straight up. She's like a Scotch straight up.
Yeah. We just couldn't believe it. It just felt like it came together like it was some kind of magic.
Yeah.
The way it fit together, we just the ideas, the stars must have been working very well.
Obviously.
There was no Mercury retrograde that weekend. We just are. Because, sometimes it's very hard when you work that intensely with someone, and I'll give an idea and she's like, what are you talking about? And she'll say something and I'm like, that's a bad idea. But everything just worked so smoothly, and we knew we had it. We just knew we had it. And we were very fortunate to realize that we were finished when we were finished, because we had a deadline. We'd gotten into the Outfest.
Yeah.
And we were very fortunate to get into Outfest with a rough cut. It's very hard to get into festivals when you're not when you're submitting an unfinished film.
Yeah.
And so we had to be done by a certain time in order to get all of the post-production things finished, all the color correcting and sound mixing and all that stuff done in time. So we had to finish, and we were terrified going into that weekend.
I'm sure.
And it just came together like it was meant to come together.
Oh, I love that.
And it just felt incredible. We finished at 5 o'clock in the morning before Tiffany had to get on an airplane, and we were like, it was amazing. It felt amazing. We were we just couldn't believe it.
And the first time you saw it, did you sob like a baby? Did the ugly cry? Were you weird? You couldn't look at yourself? Or how was it for you?
I haven't seen the finished product. I've seen the rough cuts.
So tomorrow night you're gonna see the finished product
for the first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he hasn't seen the big change. There was one big change.
I'm so excited for you. Oh my God.
Now I'm scared.
I'm so excited.
I'm nervous. No, as I was saying, it's hard for me to watch.
Yeah.
It takes. My mother is interviewed in this. My sister is interviewed in this. You can mess with me, but don't mess with my family.
Okay.
And so I feel really vulnerable when I see them.
Okay.
Because no one likes to see their family cry on film or suffer.
Yes. Right.
There's a very harrowing interview with his mother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still, it gets me.
Yeah.
So it's just.
So, like I said, I don't do this because I like to see myself on film. I really wish we didn't have to make this film, but the reality is that we have to, and we have to open up ourselves so the American people know that we are worthy of just living without fear, of just staying.
That injustices are being done.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I'm rooting for you guys. I'm going to do whatever I can. I mean, this is one reason why I wanted you on the show. I wanted to talk about it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, whatever I can do, I'll do. I'll vote for whatever. I'll do what I can do.
Yes.
I guess it's incredible. This is like a basic American right that you want, and you should have it.
Yeah. We're not asking for that much. Again, we just want some type of relief.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's what folks need to know. They just want some type of relief.
Yes.
Yeah.
God, this is crazy. And so now, if people want to see the film after Outfest, where can they go to see it? Where is it? We streaming? How's the deal? Do you think
we have a sales agent. We're working on a distribution deal. There'll be some sort of. We're going to continue on the festival circuit for the year.
Perfect. Okay.
So hopefully we'll be at a film festival
Check it out,
near
folks.
you.
Festivals, yes. There's a lot of festivals out there.
But we're working on a distribution deal that will be something, maybe we'll be on Netflix. The best thing to do is to go to the website, forbiddendoc.com. Everything will be current there, or our website, or our Facebook page, which is Forbidden Doc.
Twitter, too. You got Twitter, too.
Twitter, yeah. Forbidden to Live is our Twitter account.
Yes.
2, the number.
Yes.
and every new festival, when we get the distribution deal will be up to date on there wherever we end up premiering online or on streaming or in a theater or on HBO.
I'll keep watching it, and I'll make sure I take it out to people. So as you guys move along,
Yeah.
get it out there to people. I ask my guests the same 2 questions every show. As you guys know, I don't prep them, these 2 questions, because I want your just natural reactions. I'm asking both of you guys the same question. So there's 2 of them. So there's 2. I get my hands together. Okay. Well, I'm all discombobulated. This thing's making me so angry right now. I'm so angry. I have to calm myself down. I need a scotch. Jeez, this is not fair at all.
Let me get mine.
Yeah, pull it. Where's my flask? Jonathan? Where's my flask? No. Okay. The first question is, I believe that language is very important. It can propel us forward or hold us back or be damaging. So my first question is, what word in the English language should we take out of our vocabulary? So you each have to answer that.
Illegal.
I like that. Okay.
Oh God.
I said, I don't prep people. It's like I don't prep nobody. I want to hear what comes to mind for you, because language is a big thing. Mm-hmm. Do you have one in Spanish too?
Ooh. There are so many in Spanish. All of the derogatory terms that I do not want to say on camera.
Good. Okay.
But all of the derogatory terms that are specifically aimed at gay and queer Latino men. I think right now in soccer there's this chant that they chant.
I know. I was like,
whenever they don't want their opponent to score a match, and that enrages me.
I was shocked when I first heard it.
It enrages me.
Okay.
So let's do away with all of the dehumanizing words aimed at LGBT people in Spanish.
Like that.
I feel like the term ethnic is always used in a negative way.
Okay. That's a good
I feel
one.
like I never hear that word used in a positive way. Like,
they're so ethnic. Yeah, I was gonna say, you're so ethnic. That's so ethnic. But they're so ethnic.
What ethnicity is he?
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that's it. See, you got going. Okay, so now on the converse of that, what word do you think we should bring back and say more of in English language? It's always the harder one. Everybody's like, oh my God.
Yeah. What good questions.
Thank you.
Commonality.
Ooh. Okay. That's a new one I haven't heard. That's good.
Oh gosh, I don't know. There are so many. I don't want to be like a universalist and be like love. You know,
we need more love. We do need more love.
But I think empathy.
Ooh, that's a good
empathy. I just don't understand how we can remain silent on any issue. Like I don't want your sympathy. I want your empathy. Mm-hmm. There's a huge difference, and I think that's the point of this film. Like, yes, after you watch Forbidden, not only do I want you to be educated, not only do I want you to be enlightened, but I want you to be engaged and moved and ready to take action. You know, we are at a very turbulent time in our history to where there are so many social justice issues you can take part of. Yeah. Choose one and commit to it.
You're like, I mean, you're going to be a leader.
Yeah.
You are. I'm just like...
Fingers crossed.
My whole thing is, I have children your age, a little older than you, and I have grandchildren, and you actually give me hope for the future.
Doesn't he?
He does.
I mean, it's changing. Even the high school kids that I talk to.
I know.
Now they're so aware. They're so woke, as we say.
Yes.
I think we're headed in the right direction. Change is coming, and it's slowly coming, but I think it'll get here.
People like you, though, that's what we need.
Yep.
We need that.
Yep.
Completely. So take my compliment.
Yes, thank you.
Be a leader. John, can you go ahead and flash the picture of the thing of the documentary so people can see that? It's called Forbidden, Undocumented, and Queer in Rural America, which means America period, because it seems like at this point.
Yes.
America period. But it's in rural America because he's talking about North Carolina and his story, Moises Serrano, of course. Like I said, I'll keep you up to date as we go along. As your journey goes, I'll make sure it's I've been following you guys for like
Thank
this journey
you.
for like
Thank
6
you.
months, I think, at this point.
Oh, wow.
Like it's been kind of crazy. So now, if they want to find you guys besides documentary and want to talk to you some more, in that camera over there, can you tell me where they can find you? You guys.
You first.
Facebook is always the easiest. Moises Serrano, reach out to me on Facebook, or you can also send me an email at moises.elcambio@gmail.com, moises.elcambio@gmail.com.
That means the change. You guys don't know that. In
It
Spanish.
does.
I know my Espanol.
Good job.
Thank you, my palabras.
And
And where they can find you.
if you want to talk to me, you can always go to the website, which is forbiddendoc.com, or you can email me, which is heather@forbiddendoc.com.
Yeah, if you want to get involved or want more information, I would say talk to them. They'll
Yeah.
point you in the right direction.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
absolutely.
Definitely.
Point you in the right
Absolutely.
direction because it's not the only state. We're talking America.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you
Great.
so much.
Now you can follow us on our Facebook page, which is Breaking Into, and on Twitter, would you follow me at James Lott Jr. Use the hashtag Breaking Into, and we can continue the conversation, or I can lead you to them if you need to know more, or if you have people you want to talk to yourself. Thank you so much for watching. I am so glad you were here with me today. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. You did good.
Thank you so much. That was
From executives Kevin Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live. Scipio, Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in. The views expressed here are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.